So it's not for kids.
So how was your weekend, Kenny?
Oh, it was so good. I saw LCD Sound System.
Is that like a band?
One of the greatest bands of our time, yeah. It was TV on the radio and LCD Sound System. So it was It was audio appliance based visual appliance bands.
Yeah. They didn't have microwave and the toasters in the lineup?
No, microwave and the toasters couldn't make it, unfortunately. The Gnats made it though.
Like the actual Bug.
They had to stop performing and take like they were like, oh, we're not done, but we need to put more bug spray on because there's literally bugs coming into our mouths while we're singing. So that was fun.
That's crazy though, for real. Like imagine getting your protein in though. It's like a silver lining.
If you think about it, yeah. They always have like a big disco ball LCD sound system, and the big disco ball was like glowing and you could see the bugs flying around near the light. It was very like Junji Ito coded, I feel like. You flip the page and then there's just like all the bugs surrounding the disco ball.
It's kind of nice to think that like the bugs got a disco out of it too. You know, how often does that happen for them?
Something nice for the bugs.
Yeah, they don't live very long, so we're kind of giving them something that they would have missed out on. We have a very special guest, Ray Billings. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, of course. Thanks for inviting me. I'm doing good.
You ever had a gnat go into your throat?
Let me tell you. No, but that sounds very unpleasant. Yuck.
Who are you?
Oh, we don't have time for that.
Who do you think you are?
I don't know, man. These days I really don't know. Yeah, my name's Ray. I've been working in the board game industry for about 7 years now, doing a variety of marketing, social media, content creation stuff.
Yeah, we really appreciate you being here. It's very exciting.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. This is a very exciting podcast to be on because you guys cover a lot of older games, and sometimes I feel very left out of like the cult of the new situation. I like my old games, and I don't have a lot of money to buy all of the new ones, so it's rare that I get an opportunity to talk about older games that I love. So I'm excited to be here.
Perfect. Yeah, you're on the exact right show.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I get very stressed out by the cult of the new stuff. I don't know how people keep up with it the way that they do. It's
pretty funny to me that you would find it stressful when it seems like it would also kind of be your job. But maybe that's why it's stressful.
Well, it's like I can keep up with, the games that I put out for work, but like for pleasure, it's like I'm playing the games I know I like already for the most part. Like every time I go to Gen Con, because I go to Gen Con for work typically, and my mom is a huge, the least fun way to experience Gen Con.
Probably.
Can't say I recommend. But my mom is a huge board gamer, and every year at Gen Con, she like texts me all the games that she wants me to pick up for her. And I'm like, man, I haven't heard of half of these. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, they're all over BGG. And I'm like, okay, great. I have never heard of these because I just don't have the brain space to keep track of it. And I don't have the money to buy them. So I just do my own thing.
Is it one of those things where like when it's your job, it's difficult off the clock to engage with it?
Oh, it's I hate talking about this and complaining about it because like I have the coolest job ever. And it like sucks to be the person who's like, man, sometimes it ruins my passion. But it does because it's hard because I can't like it's hard to like look at games without like thinking about how it was marketed or like, like you just kind of see the industry differently. And especially as a publisher, you see other games. I don't want to say like as competition because that sounds shitty, but you're trying to make your game stand out and whatever. And I don't know, it's hard when you do it for a living. It does kind of, you think about things differently, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could imagine picking up like a copy of like whatever the heck, just came out and then looking at the tagline and being like, oh, shit, that's so good.
Well, yeah.
Oh, now I can't use it, like.
Yeah, or games that like our publisher
time.
Passed on. I'm like, man, this game is so good. Why did we take this? Like, it's, you just think about things differently.
Kenny alluded to it, but I mean, like, it's kind of hard to beat greatest of all time.
All right,
so.
now, for the record, that wasn't my idea. The worst, though, can I tell a story? Can I tell a story about that tagline?
I do want to know why. Why is Flip 7 the greatest card game of all time?
Okay, so for some background, this was an in-joke at the company for a long time, that we thought it was the greatest card game of all time because we had a riot with it. And for the first printing of the game, the tagline was supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, right? Greatest card game of all time, kind of a joke. Because, like, it's obviously not. There are better card games out there. You heard it here first. It's not probably the greatest card game of all time, but we really like it. And it's tongue-in-cheek, and it's sort of how at least the op likes to do their marketing. They like to do that kind of angle on things.
Right.
But there was supposed to be an asterisk, and on the back of the box, it was supposed to be according to like the Op Games team or whatever. And that never made it. And now in the new edition, you can see it. But the cat's out of the bag with that first edition. Everyone's like, who are these assholes who came out here saying their game's the greatest game of all time? And it's like, first of all, simmer down. It doesn't matter. And second of all, we know. We know. It's okay.
So the irony is that like all this time I've actually been leaning into it. Like I've carried your marketing forward.
See,
because
and that's why it works.
I'm always telling people it's the greatest card game of all time, making sure that they're very aware of that fact.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, I like to say things too, like it's a really good thing. Most of time has already occurred, so it's like a really safe bet.
Right. Yeah. But it is actually really funny. Because that tongue-in-cheek narrative, people say it as a joke, and at some point, if you say something as a joke enough, it kind of becomes canon. So I've seen that phenomenon a lot, where people are making fun of the fact that we say that by saying it, and at some point, it kind of loops around, you know?
Yeah, it's like Stockholm Syndrome for taglines.
It's like the dabbing of board games. Like it's like a mind virus. Like people did it ironically and now they just believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Man. Oof.
Kenny, I'm realizing we never really introduced ourselves here. Should we do that and then give a quick update?
Yeah, okay. This would be an interesting one to start on. But welcome to Shelf Stable, a podcast celebrating board games that have stood the test of time. I'm your host, Kenny Katayama.
And I'm the other host, Tom Bowers. Today, the feature topic is board game nostalgia, as chosen by Ray Billings. Nostalgia, what does it mean? Does it cloud your vision? Does it matter if it clouds your vision? But before we talk about that, we're just going to talk about some of the things we've been playing. And before we talk about some of the stuff we've been playing, actually, we wanted to give a quick update on the situation with Czech Games Edition. Kenny?
Yeah, so Czech Games, we talked about last episode. We said we wouldn't be covering their games moving forward until we had a better word or better action given the Harry Potter stuff. They did follow up, and so they elaborated a little bit more on like how they came to this conclusion, how their decisions impact things, and more importantly, they said that they were going to be allocating all of the profits from the licensing to
it was a little vague. It wasn't specific, but they said like trans organizations. I think there was specifically a trans like suicide helpline within Czechia that went defunct, that they're hoping to sort of I think reestablish, as I understand it, something along those lines.
When we discussed it, we said that the ideal scenario would be for them to just not sell the game, but an alternative that would not necessarily rectify but be a good direction to go in would be something along the lines of what they decided on. So I guess first of all, good on CGE. I'm really happy that they're taking this direction. Mm-hmm. I think with that we can consider talking about their games again. And I think that some of the wording around their statements, even the follow-up here, are questionable. But I'm very much an outcomes-driven person. And like we said last time, we don't want to de-incentivize companies from taking decisions or taking actions that further either the support of trans lives or remove things that are impeding or going against certain civil liberties that we have. So what we wanted to say is we're supportive of this decision.
This is, I think, a win for the organizing that occurred. There is a lot of work to be done. If you don't think that CGE has earned back your support, that's completely reasonable. I mean, honestly, even for me, I think it's still a bit of a thin ice scenario. I'm sure Kenny feels the same way, because it still feels a little bit like they didn't understand the fundamental problem, the reason that there was so much backlash for this. But the rectification makes as much sense as it can without being a total recall. Not selling it at all would be a painful decision to make, and I'm sympathetic to the fact that they won't or can't. The main thing to realize, right, is that this shouldn't have happened in the first place, and we don't want
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
companies rolling forward with, okay, we can just accept an HP license and then we'll basically just say sorry for it with money later. That's not how this works or should work, right? So
yeah, this is a Band-Aid for like short-sightedness. Ideally, people learn from this and avoid situations like this in the future. Which leads us to our next topic. Devir Games was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, in the window between the boycott more or less being announced for CGE and CGE making a huge apology, Devir Games decided to kind of be in the news. So what happened here?
Devir published a game called Ace of Spades, new game alert, and it had some very questionable depictions of minority groups. First of all, it was depicting them as villains. It had a slave depicted as drooling.
They looked rabid.
And also some Native American depictions that were very stereotypical. There was a Mexican cartoon-styled bandit with some stereotyping features as well.
You can't make like an adaptation of like Western themes, even if most of your themes are based on movies, without someone giving you some cultural guidance, because there is a lot of problems with the genre in general.
So folks were, for good reason, pretty upset with this, including ourselves. However, I will say Devir instantly responded and took very, very firm action. They said, hey, we're going to be recalling these games, and then if you already purchased one and you're not able to send it back or something, we'll still send you updated cards for those, the cards in question that are problematic. So good on them. They also talked about the future. They said that they're going to be more stringent about consultation and making sure that they research the things that they're doing, and they're going to bring in a consultant whenever they're talking about anything. Again, similar to CGE, it would have been better if it never happened, but I think we're pretty happy with how they're handling things.
I guess the long story short is it's nice that the board game community has some amount of ability to assemble collective action, and that change can be realized.
Yeah, that's the silver lining, right? I think not only was the community very proactive about making sure that folks were held accountable, but it worked. If there's something to get out of this that feels inspirational, it's that your voice matters, at least with board games.
Video game industry, forget about it. Board game industry, we're here, baby. All right.
Yeah. Ray, I'm sorry. We've been yapping.
That's all right.
Let's get back into it. We have a very special segment.
People needed to know the news,
Yeah.
so now we have to know.
Ray, are you familiar with this segment?
I think so, but you wanna give me a reminder?
We like to do a little bit of research about our guests and hopefully surprise them with a question that they weren't expecting.
Oh, great! Yes, yes. I remember listening to the Cole Worley episode and learned a lot of fun facts about Cole. So I can't wait to learn some facts about myself.
So let's jump into it. Tell me about the time you played the bagpipe.
Oh no! How did you find that one? What the fuck? Yeah, wow. Okay, so to be clear, I played half a bagpipe. I did not play a whole bagpipe.
I didn't even know that was possible.
That makes it better somehow?
Yes, there's more to this story than you knew. So I grew up playing the bassoon. It's a big woodwind that's like an oboe, but bigger. And there's only 3-ish instruments in that class of instrument. They're called double reeds. So if you ever played like the saxophone, right? It's got a single reed. Bassoon's got 2 of them. So you've got the bassoon, you've got the oboe, you've got the English horn. Don't talk about that. And you have the bagpipes. And I had a friend who, this was back before we learned that, do you guys know about established titles? The scammy YouTube sponsor from like 5 years ago?
No, I don't know that one. I mean, I know Honey, but
no, I
that's
only know Raid Shadow Legends.
Okay, so a few years ago, there was a company going around called Established Titles that would allow you to like sponsor a plot of land in Scotland or something and allow you to legally call yourself a lord. It has since come out that it's like super scammy. But we had a friend of ours who is Scottish, and for his birthday or whatever, someone bought him an established title plot of land, and there was this whole gag that we got together to present him with his title at PAX Unplugged. And I was asked if I could play the bagpipes for this ceremony. And I said,
Right.
No, I can't. And they said, well, too bad, I've ordered bagpipes. But because we were in like an apartment building or whatever, we couldn't play proper bagpipes. So they just bought me the like tube part, like a training bagpipe without the bag.
My little bagpipe.
Yeah. So I played that at PAX U for one of my friends to get a fake lordship.
Very nice.
That is that
That's
story.
awesome.
Okay, how did you feel when you found out you were nominated for the Women in Toys Awards?
Ah, that's a nice one. Insane. I felt no, it was insane. I got nominated for the Digital Innovator Award in that, which was really crazy. I mean, I do a lot of like short form content right now in my current job. I work for the Op right now, and we're a board game publisher, but we're kind of toy industry adjacent. And the Women in Toys Association is like way beyond like the board game industry. It's this big, fancy organization that's got like a ton of money and a ton of influence in the toy industry. Like I've learned kind of at my time at the Op that the toy industry is like this big looming older brother to the board game industry. I thought the board game industry was like all there was, but the toy industry kind of like looms and considers the board game industry like this funny little offshoot that they have. So like being recognized by like a toy industry organization was super cool. I mean, I started doing board game work part-time in my dorm room. And to be recognized like alongside like the CEO of the Lego company is fucking insane. I still don't know how to fully process it. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a huge feat.
Thanks. It's really weird.
Are they like flying you in for? I know the awards are in like September.
Yeah, I'm going to where they hold like the Golden Globes or whatever, like that Beverly Hills location,
Nice.
which is crazy. So yeah, I'm going out to LA in September for that. It'll be really sweet. And we have a lot of folks from the Op who are coming out to support me. So that'll be nice.
Okay. We like to alternate the nice and tricky ones.
Oh, I can't wait.
Wearing a paper bag over your head when playing games with your family.
Okay, genuinely, who'd you talk to? Who'd you talk to?
It's our job. We have to know.
What the fuck? I can't think of the last time I told that story. Oh my God. I like to consider myself like a pretty good internet sleuth, but I feel like I have, I've encountered masters now. Yeah, my family's really expressive. We like to play a lot of really big, party games. So the day after Thanksgiving in my family is called Game Day, where my mother goes absolutely nuts and turns all of her favorite party games into like giant 20-person versions of them. So she'll put like make giant cards and put them up on the wall and stuff. And back in the day, one of our favorite ones to play was Codenames. So we'd make these the giant wall of Codenames cards. And my family is so expressive that we can't not like emote when someone is like, when the team is discussing what to do, what cards they should pick. So there is a designated paper bag in my family that you put over your head when you were like the spy master or whatever equivalent in whatever game you're playing that you have to wear because we're big yappers. We can't like stop expressing ourselves. So you have to wear the bag when there's like hidden information that you can't give away.
Yeah, I think we
That's
might have
so
to
good.
employ that, Tom.
It's useful.
Yeah, Tom, you and I are pretty good about this, but there are folks in our group that you're like, remember, you can't give any hints. And they're like, oh, yeah, no problem. And then they're just like...
First thing out of their mouth. Yeah. And they're like, what? I didn't mean to say anything. It's like, no, you've ruined it. You've already ruined it. And it's so hard because you want to keep that enthusiasm. So our solution is, instead of telling people to like strip themselves of their emotion, is just like put it in the bag, you know? Just you can smile all you want in the bag.
All right, last one for you. The Sims or Tamagotchi?
Oh, shit.
If you could choose only one to own and play with for the rest of your life, which one?
Shit.
Wow,
Oh,
that's a
man.
really tough would you rather for I think almost anyone.
That's hard. I mean, it kind of, okay, I'm going to be really obnoxious, but it's going to kind of depend on like which Sims.
We'd say access to all Sims or access to all Tamagotchi.
Okay, well, that's just like unfair.
You're not allowed to consume the other one.
I would have said Sims 3 if it was me.
Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go Sims just because there's more there. But I do like carry my Tamagotchi around with me all day. And I'm emotionally attached to it. I like have like a little hook that I wear in my purse and stuff. But I think I would go Sims because there's just so much there.
Nice.
I'm such a Sims girly. I love it so much. But that's tough, man. And they're coming out with a new Tamagotchi that I really want. It's like huge and it's got like a little spinning dial. I'm so excited. Oh my God.
Does it have an LCD sound system in it?
It's got flies running into it. What Tamagotchi are you rocking right now?
I've got the Tamagotchi Connection. I got the re-release of the Tamagotchi Connection when I was in Japan, which is the one that I had as a kid. And they re-released it recently.
Very cool.
It plays like 2 games, and that's just enough stimulation for my brain. That's like all I can handle. That's perfect.
I had a Dinky Dino growing up.
A Dinky
It's like
Dino?
an off-brand, yeah.
What is that? Hold on, let me look at a Dinky Dino.
It's another virtual pet, but
Okay, all right.
I remember the Tamagotchis were sold out at the time.
Oh man, it's like a Tamagotchi, but like squished. Like if a Tamagotchi got like melted a little bit, that's what that looks like.
It looks like it sat in the car a little too long. Yeah.
Damn.
Do you guys remember Scanners with a Z?
Oh,
Scanners?
yes.
No.
These were like digital pets of sorts. They were more like digital monsters that you collected by scanning UPC labels.
What?
And in theory, it could be like any UPC label, but it seemed like there was some kind of procedure or whatever that
I believe it followed the last like 4 numbers of whatever barcode.
That's crazy. See, I never saw this because the 1990s determined that this was for boys, so I never saw this one. Like, look at the design of this. This is not for girls. Let's be clear.
It's like gross and extreme.
Dude, nothing is like worse than like the extremely gendered marketing of the 1990s or like the early 2000s. It was so aggressive.
I remember really wanting an easy bake oven.
Oh.
But they were like all like with flowers and pink marketing.
Never came
and they
in
were
camo.
like,
how could you get one?
No, you can only cook worms that you can't eat. Like worms made of glue that you can't eat. And I was like, I don't want that shit. Like I want to eat food.
Up and ruled. You really missed out. Sorry for you.
Yeah, that's too bad. I'm living vicariously through my daughter now. So.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it, Ray. Wow. It was fun.
Yeah, I feel very perceived now. That was weird.
Now we know a little bit about you, Ray. Let's talk about what you've played.
Hell yeah.
It sounds like you've been on a trick-taking kick.
Yeah, it's odd. I don't consider myself really a trick-taking gamer or even like a card gamer. But I did go home and visit my family recently, and they're big into card games. So I played a couple of trick-taking games a lot over the last couple of weeks. The first one I want to talk about is Schadenfreude, which I bought on an impulse buy because I saw someone post about it on Blue Sky. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It's Schadenfreude. So we got a German title. And I'm like, all right. It's got this like really grainy, but like really cool medieval art on the cover. Love that. And then it has a Japanese either translation of Schadenfreude or like a subtitle in Japanese, and it's like in a tiny little box. And I was like, what the yes, please. So I impulse bought it and had to import it for like $52 from like a Japanese game importer because I couldn't find it anywhere else, and learned that it is a trick-taking game, which I do like them. And Schadenfreude, I don't know, have either of you played Schadenfreude?
I played it a couple of days ago, which is like kind of wild. I did not know you were picking this, so My friend that I went to the concert with brought it along. I had played it once before. I'm curious, what were your thoughts about it?
I loved it. The hook of this game is really interesting. So it's a trick-taking game, but the second highest on-suit card wins the trick, right? So like if I were to play like a green 4 and Kenny played like a green 6 and then Tom played a green 7 or whatever, right? The 6 would win. It's the second highest on suit card. Wins the trick. And at first when you play it, if you are a trick taker, like you play a lot of trick taking games, it feels really hard to control the game, because anyone can kind of get above you or get up below you and kind of force you to take a trick, right? Because it's really hard to tell. Like when you look at your hand, how many second highest cards do I have? It really depends. You don't know on like a regular trick taking game where it's like, oh, if I have all the aces, I can count on winning those tricks or whatever. It's kind of hard to grasp at first until you realize that Schadenfreude really isn't about winning tricks. It's about messing up other people's tricks, which is why I love it. Like if you think about the name Schadenfreude, it's about the joy in other people's misery. I'm already on board. Love that shit. Love it. It takes my favorite part of Oh Hell, like a classic trick-taking game, and takes the part of Oh Hell where you try to set other people, like you try to ruin someone else's bid. It's like that, the game. And I love that so much. So in Schadenfreude, the way it kind of works is when you win a trick, so say you won a trick with the second highest green, you're going to get points based on the card you played. So you're going to take your card back. You now have 6 points. And then you're also going to collect any offsuit cards. So like if Tom had played like a blue 5 or whatever, I would also collect that blue 5 and put it in front of me in my little like tableau of points. Now there are negative cards, so you can get negative points if you win a trick. And also if you get a duplicate number in front of you, so after like, let's say I win, that 6 and that 5 and that one trick, and later on I collect another 6, both of my 6s cancel out. So there's a really fun element of what you're trying to discard if you can't win a trick. There's a lot of strategy in what you throw away, because that's going to go into the tableau of the winning hand. And it's so fun. It's like my favorite part of trick takers, which is like fucking with other people. And it's just that like dialed up to 10. And then the extra layer that really, for me, makes this game so brilliant is going with that second best mechanic. The game ends once someone passes, I believe it's 40 points. Yep. But the winner is the person who got closest to 40 points, but didn't go over. And so the first half of the game is a mad dash. Everyone's trying to get a ton of points. And then the second half of the game, it's like, whoa, pump the brakes. Hold on. I don't want that many points. So all of a sudden you're like trying to duck tricks and you're trying to stick people with extra points, because there's no better feeling than losing a trick, but discarding a high card so that the winner of the trick takes that high card, that like offsuit high card. And that pushes them over 40, and then you win the game because they got too many points and you're sitting right below 40. It's just, that loop is so brilliant. I love it so much. I wish I had discovered it earlier. I believe it's getting a US market release, which I'm so excited for, because $52 is too expensive for a deck of cards, but
yeah, I didn't realize
it's very good.
Pricey. Jeez.
Yeah, because it's not in the US yet.
In our game, everybody was pretty closely matched, and so we went into the final round maybe like 10 points away from 40.
Oh, that's stressful.
So everybody went over 40 except me, and I was like off by like a few points, We did actually have to consult the BGG forums to see if everybody goes over 40, what happens.
I had to look that up too. Did you find the answer on BGG? Because I didn't find anything conclusive. I just decided everyone's a loser.
Yeah, we didn't find an official ruling from the company or the designer, but everybody on the internet was saying you lose. Just everyone loses.
I mean,
which
it's in the rules. If you go
Yeah.
over 40, you lose. So sometimes everybody's a loser, Life lessons.
Yeah. It is very thematic to the rest of Schadenfreude to like have just everyone lose.
It's so good. It's so mean. And what I love about it is like, I really only play trick takers when I'm home with my family, because I find trick taking in my regular life, I introduce a lot of new gamers to board games. And it's like, man, if you've never played a trick taker, I don't know where to start with this. And it's so interesting because the board game industry is like, let's do trick taking, but more complicated and with special powers. And it's like, I cannot introduce that to someone who has never played like, oh hell, I can't do that, because it's too much. And what I love about Schadenfreude is that there's no like bidding or anything. So, because a lot of times that barrier to entry is like, oh man, I don't know if this is a good hand. I don't know how many tricks I'm going to take. Because you kind of have to have that second nature trick-taking brain to like know what a good hand looks like.
Yeah.
And in Schadenfreude, it's a little bit more of just a cluster. And your average trick taker like doesn't know what they're doing either. And it levels the playing field a lot. And I think it's a much more approachable and a really short trick taker. So I absolutely fell in love with it. And I think the theming is so ridiculous, and I just love it.
A little bit older. You want to talk about Wizard?
Yeah. The second game I've been playing a lot is Wizard. Are either of you familiar with Wizard, the trick-taking game from 1984?
I know it exists. Yeah, okay. That's it.
So Wizard is basically like Oh Hell, where you're bidding on a hand of cards how many tricks you think you're going to take, and you have to make your bid exactly in order to get points. But there's a wizard card. Like, that's it's just Oh Hell, but there's 2 special cards. There's a wizard that wins every hand, no matter what. And there's a jester that loses every hand, no matter what. And there's like 4 of each, and that's the entire game. It's just Oh Hell, but with wizards.
I've heard that on the Gradient, it's like there's Oh Hell, and then there's Wizard, and then there's like Skull King. Yeah. It's like they're all like similar vibes.
Definitely.
But they progressively get crazier.
Yeah. Wizard is like, I guess was crazy for 1984, but like compared to trick-taking games today, it's like, whoa, not much has changed. Just the Wizard card. I just recently discovered this game because my parents dug it out of their closet when I went home to visit, and they've become obsessed with it. And so I did a deep dive before this podcast to see, like, has anyone else ever heard of this game? Because I had never heard of it, and I hate being that asshole who's like, this crazy game no one's ever heard of, and people are like, you mean that really famous one? So I like looked into it to try to learn about it, and this is designed by Ken Fisher, who, fun fact, his BGG profile picture is of him in a wizard robe, and his BGG username is just the word wizard. Love him already. That's
committed to the bit for sure. Yeah.
And I in my like research discovered a website called wizardcards.com, which is a website that looks like it's like from 2002, where people are still actively playing and discussing Wizard, despite there being a fully functional BGA version of Wizard. So then I went down a total rabbit hole and joined this community and made a bunch of friends. And it was so I've been playing a lot of Wizards on wizardcards.com with like the same 5 people who show up every day at like 8 a.m. to play on like the jankiest website the world has ever seen. I love it. I love it so much. To me, it's like what the internet was made for, like these little micro communities, right? Because there's like 500 games of Wizard going on right now on like BGA, but there's this one website that I believe is like created by Ken Fisher or someone associated with him, because it's like very official. It is like the Wizard website. And man, I just love micro communities. I just had the best time playing Wizard with my little online friends.
How many games are there on the Wizard website?
Like, if you're lucky, like 3.
Oh, wow. Okay. So BGA is like the hotter place for it.
It's the hotter place, but it's got less character and less soul. Like I logged into wizardcards.com and like everyone's got their little nicknames for each other. Everybody knows each other, like asking each other how was work today. Like, it's a community. They're doing their own championship in Barcelona, which I believe is a championship of 5 people. I am so obsessed with it.
I love how they still don't have like HTTPS or anything. They're just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's so janky. I can't access it on my work computer, and I'm really sad. I have to like pull up a separate laptop to play during work. It's so janky. I love it.
I had the misfortune of trying to look up 18xx stuff on my work computer. And it was like, you're not allowed to look at this at work. And I was like, no, it's just nerd stuff.
I swear.
I wouldn't be surprised if you get like some interesting conversations talking about the Wizard card game. Oh, yeah, I play Commander as well,
Oh, yes, when you look it up, like because I was trying to find more information about this tournament because I want to go. Wizardcards.com will sponsor you to go to Barcelona. I was like, I want to learn about that shit. And I looked it up, and it does just pull up like Magic the Gathering tournaments. It's really hard to find.
Yeah, Wizard tournament. Oh, you mean the Pro Tour? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you just sound like a boomer trying to describe Magic the Gathering. Wizard cards. Ah, yes.
Tom, that's like a Northern Lion bit where they're all talking about Magic, and then like NL would come in and talk about the Wizard trick-taking game from 1984.
Wait, I love NL. That's, oh my God.
we found another one. Yes. It's so funny. One day we'll hope to have him on the show.
Oh, hell yeah. Do we know if he's a board gamer? Because he likes a lot of video games that are like board game adjacent, that like have a lot of board game mechanics.
He has like Sherlock Holmes and Catan in his room. And I swear, I can't find the clip of it now, but it's buried in like some librarian video that's like an hour long. He specifically mentioned Motainai in a bit.
Oh shit.
And I was
okay.
like, okay, he's like deep in it. And, you know, they've played Clank on stream, the
That's
Northern
right.
Light Super Show. So it's like he's in it somewhat. Maybe he doesn't have a Board Game Geek account, but like he definitely has like a modest collection.
Hell yeah.
My read is like he's like will show up to the game night, but he doesn't like bring a collection of games. That's my guess.
I think I saw Root on his shelves.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the thumbnail again.
Oh man, I love like discovering, like seeing board games in the background of like your favorite YouTuber's video. It's happened like a couple of times where I'm like, no way. Like it's such I can't describe the feeling, but it's like, oh man, it's one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of ASMR, not to talk, too much information about myself, but I listen to a lot of ASMR, which is like my other favorite niche sub-community. And my favorite ASMR artist that I listen to all the time, she was filming in a different location and it was just full of board games. And I was like, my two worlds colliding? Like, what is this? Like, it's so, because we think we're in our own little world and you forget how many people who aren't like proper hobbyists or whatever, like play good board games. It's so cool whenever you see that.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm like emailing my boss about how the ASMR community is really the key to like breaking Flip 7 open into the mass market. I'm like, no, you gotta understand. If we could just get this one sponsorship, trying to bury that it's just because I'm a huge fan of this person and I just found out they like board games.
Hey, do you want to flip another card?
That's so funny. Honestly, though, when you look at like the course of history, like that exact thing has happened like multiple times. Like it's basically how cereal came to exist.
Oh no, are we talking about this?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
I'll let Tom.
So just this last weekend, Kenny messages our Discord group chat. Tell me, this is a good litmus test, Ray.
Okay.
Have you ever heard this sort of factoid? It's a bit of more of a myth than a reality, but it's John Harvey Kellogg came up with Kellogg's cornflakes in an attempt to stop people from masturbating. Have you ever heard that factoid?
I have not, no.
See, Tom? Tom was like,
right.
you idiot. Everyone knows this.
What?
But see, I thought this was like almost like telling people that Tame Impala is just one guy. Like it's an overplayed fact. Because first of all, it's not entirely true.
It's not entirely true? It's somewhat true?
Yes. So
What?
John Harvey Kellogg was in fact an extreme no-fap believer. He genuinely thought like if you didn't do that, both men and women like needed to stop doing that. They needed to hold themselves in. And part of what he believed was that in order to be able to control your animalistic urges, you needed to have a like meatless, alcoholless, like extreme sort of healthy diet that was very focused on like nuts and fruits and fresh vegetables, stuff like that. It's interesting because the vegetarianism part, he was kind of onto something, but the whole like degeneration of your spirit by masturbation, he was like a little off on that.
Also, the idea that cornflakes is like highly nutritional is a little like, brother, it's corn. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. That's where it gets complicated because basically, like, he had a brother, and there was like all this shenanigans, and they made breakfast like a thing. It wasn't a thing before them. A lot of the reason people bought into it is because it was signed by John Harvey Kellogg, and he was known as like a doctor that had all these great ideas about how to cure people of ailments.
Dr. No Fat,
Yeah. And he, of course, went on to be like a huge eugenicist and asshole in general. But, that's just like pretty typical for like late 1800s type people.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I do love that there was like a period in time where marketing was just inventing concepts, like just inventing the idea of breakfast. I love that. But that was the thing, right? Like that's what early marketing was convincing a group of people that you need to do this thing every day.
Yeah.
Same thing with like orange juice at breakfast. Like it wasn't a thing until all of a sudden we had a surplus of oranges and it was like, well, you need your citrus every morning. And we're like, all right, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You can just make shit up. It was like the golden age of marketing, really.
Truly.
Now the only thing we can do is get people to invest way too much in Labubu's,
Jesus Christ, yeah.
We're ticking all the boxes, Tom. Thank you.
We like to stay topical on this podcast, right?
I do love the idea of like modern Kellogg. Like he comes in, he's like, oh, we got to eat more vegetables, less meat, get our fiber. Everyone's like, hell yeah. And he's like, so we can stop nutting. And then everyone's like, I don't know about that one.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, have you all heard about social Darwinism? It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, enough yapping, enough talking about fapping. It's time to get into the main topic of this week's episode. Thank you. Main topic of this week's episode, the real meat and potatoes of the podcast, the part of the show that people come back week after week to listen to. And this week, we're talking about board game nostalgia. Ray, you chose this topic. I want you to elaborate a little bit. What do we mean by board game nostalgia? What's this about?
Yeah, so I wanted to explore this idea of, is it good or is it nostalgia, and does it matter? Because still to this day, after having worked in the board game industry for 7 years and being a board gamer my whole life, the question, what's your favorite board game, like genuinely gives me hives. Like, are you asking what game do I think is the best designed? What has like the highest BGG score that I like? Or is it the game that like gives me the warm fuzzies? Is this the game that maybe hits my table the most often, that I have the best memories with? Because I am someone who is very fueled by nostalgia. I'm just trying to reclaim any shred of my childhood joy at any turn. That's all I'm trying to do, right? And I find with board games, I am constantly drawn back to maybe games that are not the best, that I have really strong emotional and nostalgic connections to. And that kind of never bothered me until somewhat recently. So a little bit of like backstory on me is I joined this industry straight from the publisher side. A lot of people who end up in board game marketing oftentimes start as like independent content creators and then find their way working for a publisher. I went straight to a publisher. I never did the independent content creator grind. So I was blissfully unaware of like the listicle until I joined Rahdo's channel as a co-host of his R&R show, where every episode they rank the top 10 best board games in a given category. And that stresses me out so much because when you ask me the best game in something, it's gonna be the one that like I have good memories with. And it really stresses me out, this idea that it has to be like the actual best, right? So I kind of wanted to explore that, like as content creators, as people who do make lists of stuff, like how do you weight nostalgia as a factor in considering a game your favorite or the best or something like that?
It also comes back to like, what are our roles as people that are talking about board games?
Yeah,
because I think that ties into it too. Because like, as long as you're qualifying your statements or the intent behind what you're trying to do, it feels like that answers itself. Because ultimately the consumer can make an informed decision about what they're considering. To go back to Rahdo saying these are the best games is very different from like the Dice Tower or Shut Up and Sit Down saying these are the best games. And there's not necessarily like a straight definition, but people who consume their content can probably figure out like what best means for them. And I think that's the value that critics have. So I don't know. As far as nostalgia, that's a tough one though, because sometimes you don't even know if it's nostalgic or not.
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to say, like, I'm glad you're bringing this idea up, because the part of it that really resonated, though, is the, like, what is your favorite game question?
Yeah.
Because it's uncanny how often that's, like, the first thing people think to ask when you say, like, oh, I'm into board games, you know, and not just Monopoly. There's a whole bunch of, like, auteur games or whatever. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, so, like, what's your favorite? And I'm like, see.
And then it's a 1,000-yard stare of, like,
Yeah. Because, like, there's
it's
kind
a
of
three-way tie between Monopoly, Deal, and Brass, and
yeah, there's so many layers to it, right? Because it's like favorite game, like this week, favorite game, you know, that holds a huge place in my heart, even though I never play it anymore. Like, not only that, but then it's like I could tell you the name of the game, Killer Bunnies, and you'll be like, never heard of it. It's like, yeah, I'm glad this conversation got us there. I don't know how to, you know, get this out to the public that it's not the best question to ask. I'm not sure what the best question to ask is.
Right.
But what's your favorite is not it.
So it's inevitably, it's like the first thing that people ask when they learn what I do for a living. And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Because I'm like,
well, that's when you tell them Flip 7. You can buy it now at Target, right?
Legitimately, I have been saying Flip 7 a lot because like the people that I've been encountering, I'm like, you'd like Flip 7? Like, hell yeah. Because there's this responsibility of like, this person that they just met, who they just learned like that the board game industry exists, and I am its mouthpiece. The game that I answer that question to is the game that they're probably going to go, if they do try to get into board games or like learn about modern board games, they're going to look up the one that I say. So I can't say the real answer, which is In Cahoots, a game from like 2002 that has like 5 reviews on BGG. I can't do that because that's not going to get, you can't even buy it.
I don't think I've ever heard of In Cahoots.
No one has, but it's my favorite game.
For nostalgic reasons? Is that
for nostalgic reasons, yeah.
I can't even find it.
Yeah, you can't. I think it does have a BGG page.
Players draw a card and roll the die to see how many clue words they get. Is it that one?
Yes. The one with the really ugly yellow cover.
With a K. In Cahoots with a K.
This is the game that I want to say when that question is asked, because I think it is true. It's the game that hits my table the most often. I have so many amazing memories with this game. But like, it's not even a game. Like, you can't even get it. Like, nobody's heard of it. So there's like a responsibility that comes with that question. And I feel the need to tell people a game that they can actually go get, or a game that's actually like, they could walk into their local game store and that person wouldn't look at them like they're crazy.
Yeah. Right.
But this is a great example of a game that I have huge nostalgia for, that is like by no means the best party game or the best word game, but boy, do we play it like every week at game night.
Yeah.
And that's got to be worth something, you know, even if it's not doing anything mechanically revolutionary. The fact that out of all the word games, out of all the party games I have, like, this is the one that I pick up, like, has to mean something. But trying to defend that in like an actual list format is really hard, because like, it's not the best, but I love it.
Qualify every listicle in the future with like the 10 best board games asterisk that I came up for this list.
Yeah.
That's just always in the description.
I had like a shower thought while we were talking about this. Like, waiters, this is probably what I'm doing to the food staff.
Oh, when you ask, like, what would you get? What's your favorite?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to get. What do you like getting? And then they're like, I recommend this one. It's oh shit. You know, I can't do this anymore.
To be fair though, like, I don't think it's a good restaurant if your service staff aren't eating your food, frankly.
True.
True. I'm not saying like, oh, they're not eating the food. I'm saying it's like, well, it depends. You know, I like different meals on the menu because there's so many good ones. You're putting them in the spot that we get put in.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You have a point.
I bet you there's waiters out there that are like, I don't know, just order something. Like, that's that's what they want to say, but they have to deal with us because, you know, they're at our mercy. And so they're like, oh, you know, I really like this one. If I was a waiter still, I did wait tables like way back, but like, if I was a waiter still, I would just pick the most expensive thing on the.
Hell yeah!
I love this one, and you should get extra this.
See, I've never once asked like a waitstaff that question, because my social anxiety, like, what if I don't want what they suggest? My social anxiety will compel me. Like, I have to order whatever they say. I have to order, and that's a gamble I'm not willing to take.
That's
makes
fair.
me too stressed.
I always think of Futurama because there's a line like that where it's like, what do you recommend? He's just like, I'd suggest the surf and turf. It comes with the highest profit margin.
But then if you don't want the surf and turf, that puts you in a tough situation. Stuck. Well, Ray, if you don't want that, you just say, oh, I don't want that one. Can you recommend something else?
No. And the cycle continues. No.
Nostalgia. I think sometimes we associate nostalgia with like, oh, I used to play that game when I was a kid, but it goes deeper than that, right?
Absolutely.
Like, Tom and I played a lot of collectible card games, and I feel like collectible card games are secretly ass, but because we have those like ingrained heuristics, we're like, oh, hell yeah, this game has collectible card game elements. I really like it. And I've noticed that like board game hobbyists that didn't grow up playing like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic, they'll often bounce off of certain games in a way that like folks who have played them get like super hooked into them. It's not just I played X, it's also like I have an internalized heuristic about gaming that brings me joy because of having played X.
No, definitely. And even with like a collectible card game, like, you're personalizing it, right? Like, it's such a unique journey that you went on. Like, the cards that you collected, the deck that you built, totally get that like triggers a nostalgic reaction for sure. I like, honestly, these days I don't even particularly really enjoy like heavy dry Euros, but that's what I grew up playing with my mom. And so like whenever I'm like learning a new like heavy Euro, whatever, I'm like, oh, like it just makes me think of playing it with my mom, even though it's probably the genre that like I would be most inclined to bounce off of normally. I tend to like snappier, shorter social games. Mm-hmm. But there's that nostalgia that drives me to that genre, just because it reminds me of how I got into the hobby. And that's like something I'll never shake, I think.
That makes sense, yeah. You talked about Kahoots. Are there others that come to mind that are like very nostalgic for you?
There's a lot of like old games that I grew up with that some of them I don't even know if they have BGG pages, but they're so nostalgic, and I still have them in my collection even though they're practically disintegrating. I played a game called Shipwrecked growing up, which was like my introduction to like blind bidding and gambling that I kind of want to play again, like as an adult, because I think it probably would hold up pretty well.
Nice. Are you talking about Shipwreck, the wild game of bidding, bluffing, and survival?
I sure am. Did you find it on BGG?
Yeah. Just
Hell yeah.
read the tagline.
Surprisingly charming art for the 2000s. I feel like 2000s board games are all like high fantasy, and it's got pretty cute art.
Makes me think of like Looney Labs, like it's the same.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Flux.
I love Spyfall. The I think that's a more like commonly known game, but it's like a basic kind of social deduction game that my family just goes absolutely nuts with, and it's why I love it so much, because if you play it with the right people, it is one of my favorite social deduction kind of improv games. I discovered a game at a convention called Yum Yum Island. Which was,
Yum Yum Island.
It's ridiculous. If y'all ever go to a show, I would love to meet up and play Yum Yum Island. It's become like convention tradition, because I think nostalgia doesn't always have to just be things you played as a kid. Like as an adult, if you have like a warm, fuzzy memory with something, it can
like
trigger
a personal
that
experience.
Yeah. And I just remember, frankly, being very drunk one Gen Con, and my friend pulled out Yum Yum Island, and I was like, what on God's green earth is this? Because it's a game for children, I believe published by Hasbro, and then like immediately scrapped because it like didn't do very well, where you are trying to drop food from a helicopter into the mouths of animals. And all the art in the game is of animals with their mouths open, and all of them managed to look phallic in some way. And we were just pissing ourselves. It was just, and so you're blindfolded trying to drop pieces onto a board. It's the best, like genuinely 10 out of 10, great like drunken night game, supposed to be for children, but with silly adults. Fantastic time. And it's become just like a convention staple. And I remember my very first like R&R show I did with Rado. It was top 10 food games. My number one was Yum Yum Island, baby. Let me tell you. It was like Feast for Odin and Yum Yum Island were like the two games I brought to the table.
Pretty much the same game.
And Rado's like, what kind of gamer are you? And I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
So I got a few fun facts for you about Yum Yum Island based on the Board Game Geek page. It's created allegedly by Laurent Escoffier, who most recently created Loot, the new Game Alert Spiel des Jahres nominee.
No shit,
from
really?
last year. He is one of the credited designers on both Loot and the only credited designer on Yum Yum Island.
That's fantastic. Oh my God. Wow. Well, when you have him on, you'll have to do that in the We Have to Know section.
Yeah,
Press him about Yum Yum Island.
I am looking at the characters for Yum Yum Island, and there's definitely
they look
some
like
decisions.
They're really ready to receive something.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Very millennial take, but it kind of reminds me of when Andy Bernard gets all the billboards done that are like, people are going to deface those, right? Like... Tom, do you got any nostalgic games other than Killer Bunnies?
I was gonna say, I know we've talked about Killer Bunnies a lot. Now, I mean, really, like, credit where it's due. Killer Bunnies is what got me into this hobby. Killer Bunnies was the reason that I kept walking into the same board game store to buy like the next expansion that I could afford. Like every time I got a paycheck, I would walk in, get the next Killer Bunnies expansion until I had them all. And then we were stacking all of those fucking cards in the one pile.
It's cool. You were playing Arc Nova before it even came out.
Yeah, essentially. We talked about Netrunner a lot on this show, but like the reality is like it's a nostalgia property for me at this point. It doesn't really break out to the table much at all, you know, but I'm never going to part with it because it's like it was like a formative part of like my life as an adult.
Yeah.
You know? It carried me. There were 4 footprints in the sand, and then there were only 2, and that was the part where Netrunner carried me through life.
Jeez.
No, I mean, it did have like a lasting impact for both of us, I feel like.
There's a lot of games that like I played as a kid that I'd be excited to go back to. I lately, honestly, I'm kind of in my like nostalgia inheritance era, and let me explain that. I'm just like, I see a game that looks like a game that just belongs on the shelf of your grandparents or on the shelf of the the cabinets in like maybe an Airbnb or something, and it's like that game probably sucks ass. It's from the 90s or something, 2000s, whatever. We didn't know what we were doing. I want to play that, you know, like I just want to figure out what they were going for. Recently we played a game called Sharpshooters. That's this exact thing. It's basically just a variant of Yahtzee at the end of the day, but it's always interesting to kind of see like what people were shooting for, what kind of like the potential was that maybe they didn't hit on, or where the game could have gone differently. I like exploring these old designs for that reason at the moment. Every title that you're telling me about, if it's like old right now, Ray, I'm like, okay, adding this to want to play.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to go back with that modern perspective, right? Like seeing how the hobby like exploded and where we are now. I think there's something really satisfying about going back and looking at old titles and seeing what they were going for, and maybe even seeing what that in 20 years, like that core idea kind of spun out into, maybe with another design. Super cool. I feel like old games also rely a lot more on making your own fun, which sounds like such a like boomer thing to say, but you know what I mean, right? Like they don't give you everything, you know, it doesn't give you like crazy giant plastic standees and all this beautiful art and lore. It just like it leaves a little bit more up to your imagination, which I personally really love doing.
It requires you to immerse yourself and engage with it versus it being like something you receive.
Definitely.
I have a few games that I've held on to, even though I don't generally play them. I don't think Pirates of the Spanish Main was ever good. So it was a collectible card game where you punched out little boats. Like they were these PVC credit card style cards that you punched out the little boat pieces and assembled.
Ooh.
Another fun thing is that the card itself was the ruler to like move the miniatures. So you didn't need like a ruler. You just put it from one side of the boat to the other and then you slid it along. Those little like gimmicks were like so fun, but then the game itself is like nothing.
Oh man.
Yeah. You just move up to the other ships and shoot at them and roll dice. That's it.
But see, that's where like restoration needs to swoop in and like make it better and cooler, right? Like if there's a cool base idea.
Yeah, restoration could really hop in here with Pirates of the Spanish Main because there's something there. The toyetic nature of it is really appealing.
It honestly seems like it was a missed opportunity for whatever they were doing with like X-Wing, because if you just did X-Wing as a game, except you know you made these like collectible cards because you could sell them in trading card game type booster packs.
Yeah,
that. I'm not saying that would be good for the hobby, but it could be an interesting and fun experience that you can, build little 3D cardboard models out of stuff that can be sold in booster packs. And ultimately you're playing something akin to X-Wing where there's like a meta.
Yeah, maybe that'll be the thing. Restoration games.
I'm looking this up on BGG. There's so many boats, man. Oh my God. Look at like these photos. First of all, they're so dated and I love them. Like some of the photos of people playing them just fill my heart with so much joy. But also, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of little plastic boats.
There's also like a weekly best picture on BGG competition. And there is at least one person on there that every week posts pictures of a different boat that they took pictures of.
Really?
So there's at least one person out there. Yeah, that's like still really into Pirates of the Spanish Main.
See, they need to make a wizardscards.com for this game, so all those people can find each other and join their little chat room.
I love that there seems to be like a giant enemy crab.
Yeah, I have the crab. I have
Crab.
I have the crab in red and in blue. It's pretty cool. Heroescape. We've talked about Heroescape in the past. So that's one that I think really did stand the test of time. Not only do I have nostalgia about it, but like a lot of people have nostalgia about it. It did something really impressive, which was it marketed itself as a toy while also introducing children to a lot of like miniature skirmish rules. And I think like Memoir 44 did that to a certain extent, but like even more so Heroescape, because you had these pre-painted minis, you had this Lego-like interlocking terrain system, and you had a pretty lean rule set that was still pretty robust and well designed. And like, talk about something that'll get you into buying a bunch of minis and painting things. Like, in a way, Heroescape was a dangerous gateway, but also like it really, I think it's one of the most successful forays into bringing a whole new generation into the hobby of board gaming. So
Oh, definitely.
I'm kind of surprised that they came out with a thing recently, but I think that's appealing to the nostalgia, right? And maybe that's where we pivot here. What, like, it sounds like nostalgia as a whole is in right now. Millennials have a lot of expendable income, allegedly, you know.
Allegedly.
Let's market to them, you know, doing a reboot of, so what even is it this week? Phineas and Ferb?
It's something new every day, I swear.
Yeah, and so part of me is like rolling my eyes, but I think that's just because I'm a hipster. It's interesting, like, I like the concept of nostalgia. I don't like the concept of corporations exploiting my nostalgia.
Once it's out of your control, yeah, someone else being like, ooh, you'll buy this because it makes you remember your childhood that you've lost. Like, that feels shitty.
Yeah.
Remember the 80s? You were younger back then. Have we got a movie for you?
Yeah.
I also think that, like, making the comparison to, like, movies and other media, like, the idea of a reboot feels worse than something that's inspired by something. I think the board game industry does a slightly better job of like re-implementing nostalgic themes and ideas while not just like rehashing literally the same game and asking for more money again, because that does definitely feel icky for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a fan of like a spiritual successor versus this is the same thing but back.
Especially because I like work in the industry, right? And this whole space has become my job. Nostalgia is like a really important tool for me to kind of hold on to, right? Like reminding myself like why I love this space so much, and kind of like why I do what I do, like trying to recreate those warm, happy memories that I have with board gaming for other people, even when sometimes this industry can suck a lot. For me, that nostalgia does kind of propel me forward in a lot of ways. And so I think it kind of gets a little bit of a bad rap of like, oh, it's not really a good game. You just have nostalgia for it. You just like it for whatever reason. It's like, yeah, but that's what this is all about at the end of the day, right? And that kind of like loops back to the original idea of like, does it matter if it's nostalgia or if it's good? Like at the end of the day, if it's something that brings you joy, it kind of doesn't matter. I feel like the board gaming hobby in particular, like we get really obsessed with like the scores and the ranking and like the how good is it. Like I always find myself qualifying with games that are objectively good, but that are my favorite because of nostalgia. Like Dominion, right? I love Dominion. I remember Dominion teaching me that concept of deck building and it blowing my mind forever. Have better deck builders come out since then? Probably. Will it be the top of my top 10 deck builder list forever? Also probably. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to find any opposition here. I think Tom and I are firmly like, Dominion still has legs.
Okay, because I find a lot of Dominion haters for some reason. People are like, oh man, it's like so unbalanced and there's so many better ones. And I'm like, whatever.
It's a popular game and then it's popular to hate on it too. So I think that's where it comes from. But
definitely.
We famously have started to become like glazers of the OG. So.
Okay, cool. So I'm in the right place.
Yeah, because like Catan, Dominion, I feel like there's a few others probably that are like all in this wheelhouse where it's like you eventually feel like you graduate from these games and then you have to be like, oh, you know, I don't play Catan anymore because I found Space Base exists or like something like that to reiterate like, well, Space Base is good.
Yeah.
But Catan
See, that's why I'm glad y'all
like
are doing this.
Yeah.
because I feel like there's kind of two routes you can take. One is what you just said, which is like, oh, I've graduated, and if I say the OG, then I look like I don't know or I don't understand the contemporary better games. And the other side of that is I feel this need to pay respect and homage to the game that got me into whatever this genre is, right? Like, it feels disrespectful to not say Dominion when talking about best deck builders, but there will always be someone who'll be like, ugh, haven't you played any new deck builders? It's like that. It's that energy that sometimes I get, which is kind of why I wanted to bring up this topic of like, no, it was popular for a reason. And also I have a nostalgic connection to it because it opened my world up to a whole new genre of game that I went on to love. And to me, that makes it number one, right?
Like you have your editorial perspective, and like that's the real value of you, Ray Bird, being someone that comes up with a list. It's like, if people can't appreciate your perspective, why are they tuning into what you have to say at all? You know, it would be meaningless if you could objectively create a list, because then that would just be the list that would be perpetuated throughout the internet.
Yeah,
right?
and Tom and I already made that list, so like, we don't want anybody else coming in and yucking our yum, you know. We are the objective source on board games.
No, this was good. You know what? I really needed to hear that. This has been a great therapy session. Thank you all so much. I will Venmo you your fee. But like, no, truly, like that's a helpful thing to hear, right? Because like, especially stepping into a space like Rahdo's channel that has like a lot of more like serious kind of legacy gamers, and I'm coming in with my goofy little games that make me happy. There's always inevitably someone who's like, you know, that's not a real game. It's like, all right. Well, I love it. So there you have it.
If anyone ever said that to me, I would just be like, then explain why it's got a listing on The Geek.
Granted, that listing only has 20 reviews, but tell me why then. But it's still on there. Yep.
I think that's going to do it for this week's podcast. I think we've been yapping long enough, as I've learned to start saying at the end of all of these. I want to thank everybody for listening this week. Thank you to Bonehouse for letting us use our song Rot as our opening theme.
Ray, where can people find you? And is there anything you want to talk about?
You can find me on Blue Sky. I'm at Ray Bird, RAYBIRD. That's kind of it. I used to stream a lot, but I'm not really doing that much anymore. So just follow me on Blue Sky and you can see what I'm up to.
If you're loving the cast, share it with a friend, or on Reddit, or on BGG. You can also reach out to us directly at shelfstablecast@gmail.com. Can't wait to hear all your comments about No Fap November and how you're going to eat a lot of cornflakes. All of this and more will be available in the show notes. If you like what we're doing and want to make more of it happen, consider subscribing to us on Patreon. You'll get access to bonus content and Discord. We like to ask the guests if they have a particular topic they're feeling. Ray...
I want can you ever really balance a game? Because I want to know the answer to that, because I don't know.
Okay.
Join us next week when we talk about, can you ever really balance a game? What does it even mean to balance your game? Is it like a dexterity thing?
Oh, man. I wish I'd picked that as this topic and I came fully prepared to just like do that bit the entire time. That's a really big missed opportunity on my end, and I'm truly sorry.
One of my favorite balanced games is Rhino Hero. Don't worry, I'll carry the legacy for
Okay, good.
Ray, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
And we'll see everybody next week. Thanks. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.